Have you ever asked yourself a painful question? Why do I feel so attached to someone who doesn't treat me well? Maybe they ignore your messages. Maybe they give you attention one day and distance the next. And maybe they hurt you. Yet somehow you still feel emotionally connected to them. And the most confusing part is this. You know the relationship is painful, you know you deserve better, but letting go feels incredibly difficult. And you may even find yourself thinking about them constantly, wondering what they are doing, wondering if they miss you, wondering if things could somehow go back to the moments when they were kind. And emotional attachment can feel overwhelming, confusing, even when it's embarrassing. But what most people don't realize is this: there are very real psychological reasons why people become deeply attached to someone who treats them poorly. And today we are going to explore those reasons because understanding these patterns can help you break free from them. Now, I just wanna make you understand emotional attachment. Before we proceed, you can let me know your questions in the comment section too. What's your experience, and if you guys are experiencing any painful experience or had a bad experience, you're gonna get insight about them. You can just let me know and I'll provide insight through the video to you. And as I'm a consultant clinical psychologist, and if you need any sort of therapeutic sessions, so let me know. I'm always available for you. Also, if you guys haven't subscribed, just go and subscribe my channel, like the video, share it with your friends so you guys can get the latest updates. So, coming back to the topic, before we explore the deeper reasons, it's important to understand something fundamental about human psychology. So, attachment is not only created by love. Attachment is created by emotional intensity. Our brains are wired to become attached to people who trigger strong emotional experiences. And these emotions can include excitement, uncertainty, longing, validation, and rejection, hope. So, when relationships involve emotional highs and lows, the brain often interprets that intensity as deep connection. And deep connections are very significant, even when the relationship is unhealthy. This is one of the most powerful psychological traps in relationships, and many people experience it without realizing what's happening. And now, reason number one is intermittent reinforcement. So, one of the strongest psychological forces behind unhealthy attachment is something known as intermittent reinforcement. And this concept is widely studied in psychology, and it describes situations where rewards appear unpredictably. For example, sometimes a person is affectionate and sometimes they are distant and sometimes they make you feel special and other times they make you feel invisible. Because the affection is unpredictable, your brain starts craving it even when you begin chasing the moments when they are warm, loving, or attentive. Those moments feel incredibly powerful, but they are inconsistent, and that inconsistency creates a cycle of emotional dependency. And your mind keeps hoping that the next moment of kindness is just around the corner. Now, reason number two is emotional validation feels real and powerful. So, When someone treats you badly most of the time but occasionally shows love, those moments feel incredibly meaningful. Okay, and when you love someone, even if they give you some any one compliment to you, and even if they are giving 5 minutes to you, you would feel like, oh, he loves me, and this is true love and all. But it is very very necessary that even in teenage, this education and this awareness is very necessary to tell people that what is difference between real love and fake love, just attachment, just lust, and all of these things. Okay, when a person is not aware about that and they cannot make a difference between the both, then you are trapped in these situations. Okay, and then the other person can take advantage of you very easily. Okay, and this also happened in marriages as well, that one person is always giving 100% to sustain a relationship, the other person is just taking advantages of that. Okay, so here a small compliment feels huge, a brief moment of affection feels magical. A simple message from them can completely change your mood, and this happens because your brain begins associating that person with emotional relief. They create the pain, they also become the source of comfort, and this creates a psychological loop where your emotional state becomes tied to their behavior. Now, reason number three is the desire to fix a relationship. Many people feel attached to difficult partners because they believe the relationship can still be saved. You might remember the early moments when things felt beautiful. You might think, maybe if I just try harder, things will go back to how they were. And this belief can keep people emotionally invested for a long time because the relationship becomes not only about love but also about hope. Hope that the person will change. Hope that the things will improve, and hope can be incredibly powerful even when reality is painful. Now, reason number four: childhood attachment patterns. It's a very important part. Our early life experiences shape the way we experience relationships. People who grew up in environments where love was inconsistent may unconsciously feel familiar with emotional unpredictability. If affection was sometimes present and sometimes absent during childhood, the brain may interpret that pattern as normal love. Okay, as adults, this can lead people to feel drawn towards partners who recreate similar emotional dynamics. This doesn't mean something is wrong with you, it simply means your nervous system learned a certain pattern early in life. And now that pattern feels familiar even if it is painful. If you have seen your mothers struggling, if you have seen yourself struggling and you had a difficult childhood, whether you just had to suffer and there was no I would say respect for yourself, and you just had to make those compromises, and you couldn't stood up for yourself and for your rights as well, and you just had to make all the compromises, and with the passage of time you learn this thing that okay, if this is happening, so whatever is given to me, so it's fine. I can't do anything, and you became hopeless and all. In natural life, in your relationships, you feel like okay, it happens, and whatever is happening, it's fine, and you don't stood up for your rights and all of those things. And where you have seen people who are very clever and even who have some narcissistic traits, they are doing very well in their own relationships because they are taking advantages of other people. Okay, so now, um, reason number five is low self worth can strengthen attachment, and that's very important. Another painful factor is self worth. When someone struggles with self esteem, they may begin to believe that the attention they receive from a difficult partner is the best they can get. So even small moments of affection feel incredibly valuable. You may start thinking maybe I'm expecting too much, and maybe relationships are just like that, and maybe I should be grateful still they care about me at all. And over time, this mindset can make it even harder to leave because our relationships become tied to your sense of personal value. And one important thing that I want to share with you is where if you go to third person and you will start sharing that I'm experiencing this thing, so what suggestion you can give to me? And please believe me, you would really rarely find someone who would give you genuine advice. There will be a lot of people around who just say, okay, that's happening, it's fine. There would be a lot of people who will ruin your own relationship just because of manipulation and misguiding. Okay, so I just want to say, please don't, wherever wherever you are sharing it, please always see that is this person genuine, is this person truly understands your perspective. Because if the other person has truly gone through a pain and they have suffered from something, and they can understand your pain and your suffering. And if the other person hasn't gone through this phase, then they can't understand your perspective, and they would give you a different, very different sort of opinion that won't match and that won't align in your situation. Okay, and that would be very difficult for you, and then later on you regret like why I shared my that stuff with this person. Okay, and manipulation can destroy any relationship. Okay, and if you were highly empathetic, if you were saying yes to people, and then people would be like, okay, if this is happening to you, then it's fine, it's okay. It happens to a lot of people. If it's happening to you, then okay, fine. And they would tell you things like this just to let you suffer. Okay, so always remember, if one has gone through a lot of pain, if they have suffered from the situation, then a person who has truly struggled, they can only understand your pain. Otherwise, not everyone would be available. And if you want to share, as a clinical psychologist, if you want to share anything with me, confidentiality is my first ethical principle. If you just want to share anything with me, I'm always available for you for online sessions and therapy and everything. Please always go for professional support if necessary. If necessary, okay? Because it would maintain the confidentiality. And confidentiality should be maintained in any relationships between siblings, between parents and children, between teacher and student, between uh, the doctor and the client, and between workplace, everywhere. Okay, respect here is also very important. Now, coming back to the topic, reason number six: emotional addiction. Unhealthy relationships can actually become addictive. The emotional highs and lows trigger powerful brain chemicals like dopamine. When the person suddenly becomes affectionate after being distant, the emotional relief feels intense, and your brain remembers that feeling and it starts craving it, and this creates a cycle similar to addiction. Like pain, hope, and temporary relief in pain again. And breaking this cycle requires emotional awareness and distance. That when you are in the middle of it, the attachment can feel incredibly strong. Okay. Now, reason number seven. Fear of losing the connection. Even when a relationship is painful, the thought of losing the person completely can feel terrifying. Humans are deeply wired for connection. Our brains often interpret emotional suppression as threat. And so even when someone treats us badly, our mind focuses on the fear of loneliness rather than the reality of the relationship. And this fear can make people stay attached far longer than they should. And when the other person learned that the other person cannot stay without me and they are truly in love with me and they can go to any high extent, then they start taking advantages of yourself. So don't, whether you love someone, don't be very vocal in expressing that. Okay, so make this thing like 50-50, that you both are at that same level. If this person is sharing your feeling, you should share yourself, and you should have to give your a comfort, but a boundaries should be there. Okay, boundaries are very important. Now, the important truth most people learn too late. One of the hardest realizations in relationships are understanding this, and the intensity is not the same as love. Okay? A relationship filled with emotional chores may feel passionate, but healthy love actually feels different. Healthy love feels safe, consistent, respectful, emotionally stable. But it may not always feel dramatic or overwhelming. Okay, but it provides something far more valuable, and that's peace. You guys must have seen a lot of people who are highly dramatic, and they are getting all the attention and attention seekers, those who have narcissistic traits. They can tackle the situation really well and they can control their partner. Okay, but those people who are truly and they love the other person from the core of their heart, they have to struggle. Okay, so deep down somehow we like those people who, and it also depends on the intention, what the intention is of other person, what they are looking, and like for instance, someone just they just need money, so they marry for money. They just need, some need just emotional connection. So for some people relationship is that. So the foundation and the need is also very important. Now, how to break attachment cycle? Breaking emotional attachment to someone who treats you badly requires patience and self-awareness, and it involves recognizing the psychological patterns, rebuilding your sense of self-worth, and setting emotional boundaries, and sometimes creating distance from relationship. Okay, and those things that people usually do, like I need your password of social media accounts and all of these things. No, 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 no. This person also needs space. Everyone needs space and personal life, and don't interfere in every phase of every person's life. Please, please don't do this. Respect those boundaries. Even if you guys are husband and wife, you guys are boyfriend and girlfriend, please always respect those boundaries. Okay, because it would start discomfort in your life. Okay, it can also involve healing deeper emotional wounds that make us unhealthy relationships feel familiar, and this process takes time, but it's possible, and many people who go through it eventually discover something powerful. Now, if you feel attached to someone who doesn't treat you well, it doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are human. Your brain and heart are trying to hold on to connection. But real love is not supposed to make you constantly question your worth. Real love doesn't make you feel anxious, confused, or emotionally exhausted. Real love makes you feel valued, respected, and emotionally safe. Okay? And once you experience that kind of love, you begin to realize something important. The relationships that hurt the most are not always the ones that were meant for you. Sometimes they are the ones that teach you what you should never accept again. So, if you are struggling with letting go and healing from a painful relationship or understanding why certain patterns keep repeating in your life, please know that you don't have to go through it alone. And sometimes talking to someone who understands the psychology behind these emotional patterns can make a huge difference. So, as a clinical psychologist, I work with people who are going through these exact experiences, helping them understand their emotion, then rebuild their self worth, and create healthier relationships. So, if you feel ready to start this journey, you can reach out for therapeutic sessions or counseling. We can work through these patterns together. Okay, you are not alone, and I'm always available for you. Okay, please don't hesitate in anything. And if this video helps you understand something about your own heart, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And leave a comment below about what resonated with you the most. Okay? Your story matters, your healing matters, and your heart deserves a love that doesn't make you question your self worth. Take care of yourself, and I'm wanna initiate a therapeutic training series. If you guys join that, you guys can let me know, and it would be online, and you guys can join me in that too. So take care of yourself. I soon see you soon in the next video. Till then, take care. Goodbye.